Okay, welcome to our I Am Happy Happy Hour yoga practice. Set your drinks aside, take sips when you would like, and it can be sips of anything. Remember, wine, lattes, mochas. Ugh. I didn't get to have a mocha this morning. I feel it. Or water. And we're going to come to a seated pose. And this definitely is a little bit different because I can't see you in person. I'm the type of person that really likes to sense the energy of the room and how you're doing, but this isn't the case. So we're doing the best we can though, and this is probably the second best where I can still see you a little bit, but not quite as much. So as I guide you through this, just know that because I'm not there with you to see how your body's doing at any time where you're feeling like, that's not for me, then go ahead and come out of the pose or adjust to something that feels better. If you end up in child's pose or shavasana for the entire rest of this practice or the entire time, that is okay. So do what you need to do to feel your best to end your week feeling happy and vibrant. As I am happy. I radiate joy from deep inside my soul. And once again, my name is Ashley, and I'll be leading you through this very sort of gentle, simple yoga practice. Let's get started. All right, because we're radiating joy, I'm gonna take a big sun shining reach up. And then take those hands down next to your knees on the floor. Fingertips touch. Do it again, arms out and up, palms up. Exhale, hands out and down. Once more, big breath in, reach up. Hands down next to your sides. Take your chin down to your chest. And we'll do some simple movements. Gaze up to the sky, chin to chest. Gaze up to the sky. Let's take that head side to side as you take the chin down, then rock side to side, right and left. As we begin our practice, let's start to think of a few things in our life that make us happy. What makes you smile immediately? For many of us, it's our dogs. It could be our children, our family. It could be, if you're like me, chocolate. I get way too excited about a good chocolate bar. Or maybe it's setting some flowers on your kitchen table. That's a habit in our household, is we always have fresh flowers on our table. And they last about a week, maybe two. But it just makes me happy to see them. Some life within the random, non-living, tangible things of your house. All right, lift nice and tall. Take the crown of the head up like a string pulling your head. Sit up tall. Just rest your hands into your lap and close your eyes. Let's take those deep breaths again, bringing in those thoughts of what makes you immediately smile. Who is it in your life that does that? What is it in your life that does that? And when does that usually happen? A deeper breath in through the nose. Slow exhale out through the nose. Another cleansing breath in through the nose. Out through the nose. And hopefully as we move forward in our practice and life, we use this breath as our guide. It's our barometer, our check-in point. So checking in with the breath and noticing if we need to adjust or change the position or the place that we're at. And one more deep breath in. Reach those hands up again. Out, up, reach up. And hands come down. And optional, grabbing your celebratory toasting drink. Cheers to our happiness. May we be happy even through this uncertain time. So let's make it to our hands and knees and take a little bit more simple movements. So shifting forward, hands and knees. I like cat and cow poses. Super baggy shirt here, but doesn't matter too much. Just know that we're working that spine up and down. So we press, arching the back, round the back, look down, hug the chin, hug the arms inward, belly up. And just that simple movement. And it might be a little bit more organic then. So how about some side to side circles, and make this movement expressive to how you are feeling. If you, I mean, it's pretty late on the East Coast, so if it's late there and you're feeling all tired, maybe it's just like a very gentle move. If you're like, I need some energy in my life, then we're like moving and grooving. Have it reflect what you're checking in your breath, your feelings, your happiness. Or simple cat and cow. And then finding a neutral position. And keep the hips over the knees, walk the hands forward, melt the heart and the chin down. It's more of a passive stretch for the shoulders and the upper back. Your chin is down, looking forward, puppy pose. There are other variations of this pose as well. You could take the hands together and lift the hands in prayer above your head. If you have a couple blocks, which I didn't say you needed any props, you could place them under your elbows. So either the chin or the forehead down, melt the heart, sometimes called melting heart pose. Okay, walking up out of this one, shift forward, walk the hands back underneath the shoulders. Still on our hands and knees. I'm going to do a few poses from here. Let's get a little bit more into the upper body and the shoulders. I'll take my right hand first up and open, so you can pick whichever hand you would like. So reach up, open up, lengthen, find a nice little twist, and then slide that right arm underneath the left shoulder, thread the needle. Forehead comes down, left finger's either down, forward, or around your back. We're going to stay here for a few long, steady breaths. And then take that left hand back to the ground, fingertips down. Slide yourself up, reach up with that right arm. Big open stretch. Rotate through that hand a couple times. The arm, the shoulder rotating. And then place that right hand back to the floor. Other side. Left arm reaches up. Find that nice open twist. Feel it through the entire rib cage, hopefully. Reach up, look up, and slide that left arm underneath that right shoulder. Thread the needle, second side. The more weight you shift forward, the more you're going to feel a long, nice little pull from the left shoulder to the right hip bone, all down the back. Then take your right hand back to where it goes. Slide yourself back up. Reach up with that left arm. You can rotate or stay reaching. Draw the shoulder down away from the ear. So instead of hunching, it's a tendency to do that. Let's soften left shoulder down the back of the body. And then take that left hand back down. This time, child's pose. So the knees go wider, sit back on the heels, forehead comes down. Your hands can either reach forward or next to your sides. I like the side way because we've been doing a little bit of shoulder work. So reaching towards your heels, forehead to the ground, and relax. Now you take your hands out in front of you, maybe just in front of you, to help press yourself up to sitting on your heels. Bring your seat to the side and swing the legs around again for a seated pose. Let's take the legs wide. Whew. Wide. You don't have to go as wide as I am going, that's for sure. So a little note, it's said, a lot of people say, a lot of yoga teachers say, that twists are very detoxifying. And they are, but not in the way that you might think. So what twists actually do when we do twist our body, and we'll get into a couple twists in a moment, they don't just wring out the body. It's not like wringing out a towel of water, although that's an analogy we use sometimes. What happens is, as you twist, you compress the area in the midsection. Then when you unwind, there's a new refresh of blood flow that flows through those vital organs. So it is a little like a gentle massage, but it's not like you're, wringing out a sweat towel or anything like that. So it's a different sort of detoxification than detoxifying as if you were, doing a juice cleanse. So just a little different. And the best detoxification, best detoxifier for our lives is probably your breath. At least I think so. Breathing deeper is going to help you live a calmer, healthier life in general. So let's take those deep breaths. All right. Let's take the right hand. I don't know if I'm mirroring you or how you're seeing me. I'm going to use my right hand. Use whatever hand works. My right hand goes down. Maybe your left hand goes down towards the inside of the leg. Reaching for the foot. Turn that top shoulder open and reach up. So we add this little bit of a twist as you press into that bottom hand. Look up towards the left hand or the top hand. And then extend it a little bit more. Soften the shoulders. They do tend to draw up. And I'm saying that more and more because I'm noticing my own tendencies. Press down through the knees. And then lift back up. Slide your opposite hand down the other leg. Reach up with other hand. Press into that bottom hand. So we open, almost like you're trying to reach back a little bit. Then extend that top arm overhead. Some of you out there might grab your foot. I don't necessarily want the purpose of this to grab your foot and get into a huge stretch for the legs. Instead, I want sort of that reach. I would love to see more twist, right shoulder back, openness in this pose. And then lift back up. Take a deep breath in and out. Let's start with the hands behind you. Pressing down, lift up. So there's something that we can do here. Instead of, gotta turn to the side. Instead of folding forward and just rounding the back and trying to get forward, so getting out of this, rounded back situation, we want to stay upright. So starting with the hands behind you, focus on the tilt of your pelvis. Anterior or posterior tilt, your belly's in. Anterior tilt, you're sticking your booty out and your belly and chest are coming forward. So hands down. Go from maybe posterior to anterior, where you're lifting the heart, the front of the body opening. And try to tilt your pelvis a little bit more and more and more and sit up tall. Flex and press through the feet. And then as you're feeling more comfortable, the hands may or may not come forward as you take those hands and elbows, crawl them forward as you fold a little bit deeper, but keeping the belly leading the way. So if you were to have something touching the floor besides your hands, it would first be belly button, and then maybe the chest and the chin and the nose. Because I could easily touch my head down, but I don't want to do that. I want this nice length to create the sensation in the backs of the legs. Sort of a yin posture of sorts. A lot of these are going to be yin postures. We're just not going to be holding them for 8 minutes. All right, lift it back up. Walk it up. Bend the knees slowly. Bend, bend. Walk your feet in. I'm going to be turning around side to side, but you can stay where you are. So you've got a couple options for this next one. We're doing a hip opener. You can choose to do a seated, or we're going to do, let's all do seated today. I just changed my mind, because the transition we'll do from this pose is going to be best from a seated pose. So lengthen your left leg, take your right ankle over the top of the left knee, down. Let's take that knee down, flex the left foot and sit tall. We'll start here. Same thing with the hands behind, lift up tall and send your belly, your heart forward. You can use your right hand maybe to help press that knee down. And you might stay in this position. You'll feel a lot more on the left hamstring than you will when you're seated and bent knee, but that's maybe what you're looking for. To get a little bit deeper into that right hip in this figure 4, hands behind you, lean back just slightly, still tall. Bend the left knee and place the foot closer to your backside. You can adjust the hands so that the fingertips point to the back of the room, and make sure, hey everyone, make sure that your foot is flexed. Giving you a little wave here, just check in with that foot. Press the knee away from your body. Ankle closer to you. Try to get your chin, might touch the shin, or the chest to touch the shin. Great pose to hold for a few deep breaths. Notice any tightness start to dissipate. Then take that right foot, the one that I'm waving, the one that's up top. Place it to the ground, pivoting in the hips. Pivot, 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 place the right foot down. And you might adjust slightly on your seat. And your right side might pick up a little bit. Let's try to put that back down. Reach up with the left arm, outside arm. Exhale, elbow to the knee, or hug the knee and twist, look back. Here's our little wringing out of the body, but not really. You can imagine yourself though, sort of like a spiral staircase, with your spinal column being that center base, pole, and then something wrapping around it. Keep your eyes, your drishti, your gaze at eye level, not looking down, not looking up. Good. And then come back to the center. So you're gonna get a little bit more happy in the hips, hip happy practice. Take those knees. All right, so there are a couple options here. Same sort of crossing here. Take the knees and squish them together. Heel toe, cow face pose. If this is not happening for you, just come into a seated pose with that right leg in front. Any kind of seated pose works. What does help to get those knees a little closer is to lean forward and then lean back. Yep, good, good. Hips settle in. And today we'll just use hands behind the back. We could do the cow face arms, not today. So we're gonna take the hands and either grab the wrists or knock the fists together, or if you're so inclined, reverse prayer behind your back. I do this little rolling motion because that's what I have to do behind my back. I'm not doing that today. I'm gonna grab my wrists. So lift tall. Breathe deep. And lean forward. Think of that tilt in the pelvis again. Hi. Think of that tilt in the pelvis again, where you're sticking your booty out a little bit more, chest lifted. We're still cultivating that happy energy. And happiness often comes from openness too. So what signifies happy, besides clapping your hands because you're happy and you know it, is a little bit of openness, some confidence. We do that with shoulders back, heart open. It's a symbol of vulnerability to be open to others when we've got an open heart, open chest, and lifted tall posture. Right, release your hands and fold forward a little bit more. Okay, lift it back up. I'm gonna do one of my favorite little spinny moves. You might just switch, but I like the spinny move. I'm gonna share it with you. It's called spinny asana. Okay, not really, but I'll say it's called spinny asana. You take your hands, your front leg, so your front leg, towards the foot of your top leg, towards the foot of the top leg. We lift up and spin around. You might know what I'm talking about, but I'll show you. So you take the hands down, plant them down, get up onto the balls of the feet, lift, spin, spin, spin. Whee! And there we go. Except this isn't where we started, so that's all right. So you're gonna come into this kneeling, this pose, and we'll go in reverse. So now we're in our hip opening cow face pose. We'll do our twist and then head to our seated figure 4. So just go in reverse. Hopefully those of you who are a little like, has to go in order, are gonna be okay with that. We are gonna hit every single pose. So you can lean forward a little bit. Settle in. Oh, the hip sensations. There's a lot of emotions and things that tend to get bagged up in the hips, right? So when I feel stressed or when I get anxious, it shows up differently for me than it might show up for someone else. For someone else, and for many of us in different times of our life, it shows up in our hips, hip tightness. You're not as mobile, you're not as stretchy, or you're not doing as much physical activity, and that this area gets tight in time. My stress often shows up with my digestion and my belly. So I have to make sure that I'm doing core work and core exercises and stretching and moving my spine. And we do that in every yoga practice. So let's take the hands behind the back. Again, grabbing the wrists, the elbows, reverse prayer. Lean forward. You guys, downtown is like super hopping right now. No one is supposed to be outside. Everyone's ordering takeout from the ramen place next door. Just opened, by the way. And I just saw like 5 kids go past on bicycles. Crazy. No judgments though. Okay, they do what they want. Some of them were wearing masks. And I've got to remember, focus on right now, focus on myself. And Anna just drove by. Judy knows Anna from teacher training. How wonderful. But focus on yourself. I'm happy. And I do not have the control over what's going on in the world, and I cannot control anyone else. So I focus on me. I am happy. I radiate joy from deep inside my soul. Fold forward a little bit more. This side is tough for me. I don't know about you, but this side is, whew. It could be a symbol that my right side of my body, my right brain, my more powerful side is being, challenged, or it could just be that my right hip is tighter. All right, lift back up. We're gonna place your foot either to the inside or the outside. We'll go into that twist. Right arm up, elbow to the knee. Look back over your right shoulder and twist. Get out of that right hip or that cow face legs pose a little bit, and focus in on the belly, the midsection. As you look back, continue this twist with your gaze. Good, and unwind from that twist. And last one, you try this. Straighten that right leg to start with, of course. Start with your hands behind you. Sit tall, lean forward. You might use your left hand to press that down. You see the little bounce? Get a little give, and the ankle is directly above the knee. It's not on the quad, it's not in the hip, although that is a version of this pose. It's in this nice little straight line just above the knee, getting pressure off of that big muscle of the quad. So knee sort of bouncing up and down, lean forward, and or bend that right knee. Seated figure four. Okay, flexing through that left foot. Gonna sit up a little taller. Hands behind you and turn your fingers to face your toes. Press into the right foot, lift the hips. Then take that left foot down to the floor. Lift and open. Feel vibrancy in this reverse tabletop. Of course, you could be down here on the forearms instead and lifting, giving yourself this poof, this proudness, this pride, this happiness, this joy, this energy. Lift up. Strength in the back of the body. Look up or look back. And finally, settling the hips back down. Take your feet together, knees open wide. We're gonna do this lying down though. So you can bring the knees together first and roll yourself down to the ground. Give yourself a long stretch. Big long reach. Life is good. Bend the knees. Now take those knees open wide, feet together. Your hands can be either by your side, on your thighs, belly hearts, or overhead. What makes you feel and act the way that you want to feel? Which position allows you to be your happiest self? I know it's a struggle lately with, being inside and challenge, not inside, but just different, having so much change in our lives. And just a reminder too about happiness. The opposite of happiness isn't sadness. That's actually, it's a good emotion to have. Being sad is great. And I don't think that a lot of us find us unhappy because we're sad. The opposite of happiness is actually boredom. It's blank, it's boredom, it's not growing, not learning. So by taking this time to dive into something that you are interested in or to learn and grow, it can really help to cultivate some of that happiness that maybe we might feel we've been lacking lately. So just a little note. So then take your hands, both of them, onto one hand on your heart, left hand to heart, right hand on belly. Take a deep breath in. Open your mouth and let it go. 2 more times. Inhale through the nose. Open your mouth, let it go. 1 more time, deep breath in. Open your mouth, let it go. Close your eyes and take a few more breaths on your own. Changing up a little, take those knees together. Feet go wider, about mat distance, and then knock the knees together. Continue your nice steady breath, relaxed, resting your hands wherever comfortable. And then find a place that's extra comfortable. It might be somewhere we just were. It might be seated or legs up an actual wall or leg extended as we do a short and happy Shavasana. As you rest here, put a slight smile on your face. The simple act of smiling can change the chemistry of our brains, how we respond, how we perceive life. So even if it feels weird or unnatural, just turn the corners of your lips up slightly as we take a couple minutes and come back to those things that make us smile, what we are grateful for, and just simple happiness in general. The intention, the thought, the reminder that I am happy. All right, take a deep breath in. Reach your hands overhead. Wiggle fingers, toes, ankles, wrists. And putting a bend in your knees, roll to your side. Press back up to your seated pose. And thank you for joining in our happy hour hips and sort of chill yoga practice. Take a deep breath in. Let's do this together. And exhale out. And I always end with saying namaste because it's just sort of a habit I've gotten into. So I will continue that habit or that tradition. And it means the light in me honors and sees the light in each and every one of you. So thank you for joining. Namaste. Cheers.
Thank you, Ashley. That's just what I needed.